When you're really up in a person's face and you're like, hey, look at this, watch this, and if you don't agree with me, then you're a piece of crap, I just don't think that's a good way to influence others to go vegan. What's good, everyone? Hope you're having a good day. If you're new to my channel, my name's Hastings, and if you're trying to evolve your body and mind through a plant-based diet as well as personal development topics, then consider subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss a video. So a lot of you are probably viewing me right now as a hypocrite because I literally just put out a video titled Stop Eating Animals. That's what the rap was titled. But hear me out, listen to me before you leave an angry comment. I want to explain how I feel about this subject, and maybe some of you guys can relate to or even agree with me. Now, I see animal activists all the time on YouTube, on Instagram, and lately TikTok, which isn't going the greatest for influencing young teenage kids to go vegan, I must say. But all the common themes in these videos is that they're almost like forcing people to try to go vegan. That's how they're trying to influence them. And I'm not saying that this doesn't work every single time. I'm not saying that this isn't a completely invalid way of doing it. In many situations, this might actually work. You know, some people in this world are actually open-minded and are open to taking on new ideas and new beliefs. And when they are blind to the fact that these animals are treated so brutally in factory farming, and you show them that, sometimes this can actually get them to change their mind about eating animals. But from my personal experience, most of the time it just leaves that person more upset or angry with the person that was trying to convince them because it feels forced. When you're really up in a person's face and you're like, hey, look at this, watch this, and if you don't agree with me, then you're a piece of crap, I just don't think that's a good way to influence others to go vegan.
What are those Neanderthals up to? Don't they know I'm busy spoiling myself?
Nothing but blood and pulp on the page!
Humans are selfish by nature, and therefore it is almost impossible to force someone to do anything. They really have to decide to do it on their own. And debating with them and showing them videos of animals that are being mistreated is great, but I feel like there's a much more effective way to go about this that I want to talk about. When I tell people I'm vegan, why is it that they automatically think I'm going to be pushy and annoying about it? It's really the vegans that are in fact trying to force their opinions on someone that is ruining it for the rest of us, for people like you and I. Like, I see activists and other people like, I just showed you all this information, and how are you going to be such a terrible person that you're not going to take action after I've told you all of this? Guys, that does not make them a bad person. Now, there's a universal law, it's called the opposite law. Like, when you hold your breath, you lose it. When you hold on to something or want something so bad, that's usually when you don't actually have it. And the more you tell someone to go vegan forcefully, the less that they're going to want to. It just doesn't work well on humans. Let them do the research on their own. Let them figure out what veganism is all about. And I'm not saying to make no suggestions at all. This is actually how I would go about it. If and only if they ask about veganism, point them to the documentaries and the research articles that influenced and made you want to go vegan, and just leave it at that. Don't say to them in a way, hey, here's all the things that you're doing wrong. You're wrong. I'm right. Don't you see how that comes off? Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but in a sense, that's like basically what a lot of vegan activists say. As much as this seems like the most effective way to do it, I believe that we should agree with them in a sense and be on their side. Now, I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but hear me out for a second. When negotiating deals or trying to get someone to purchase something or anything like that, what is the best way to do it? Now, I've read my fair share of marketing and personal development books, and a certain principle stood out in the book How to Make Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is a classic. And he says to start by agreeing and sympathizing with the person, because when they believe you're on their side, which you genuinely should be, you shouldn't just be using this as a tactic for manipulation, they are much more likely to agree with and accept what you say later on. So maybe here's the tactic I would use in this situation. I would first start off by saying, hey, if you eat animals, I totally get it. I get that it's normal and it seems like there's no other way of eating. I agree with you, but I have experienced so many benefits through this. You know, I've never felt healthier, and I'm doing a lot less for global warming, and I'm not contributing to the mass suffering of animals in factory farms, and that will really leave them curious and wanting more information. They might be like, huh, that's interesting. Let me hear more about your experience, or let me hear more about these things. Like, anecdotes work so well. Leading by example works so well. What doesn't work is by just saying, here's what you're doing wrong and here's what's wrong about eating animals. No, you got to start off with agreeing with them. You have to understand that people have been conditioned their entire lives to think that eating animals is normal and that's like the only way of eating. This is a very deeply seated belief in almost everyone that is brought up. And the number one need for humans is the need to fit in and the need to be socially accepted. And you do not fit in if you can't eat the same things at social gatherings, which don't matter at all to us vegans, but to like the normal person, that is devastating to think about. Nobody wants that. Adding that on top of the fact that it's been normalized means that for the average person, it's gonna take a hell of a lot more than just telling them what they're doing wrong. Now you've told them all the positive experiences you've had because of going vegan, and now if they're interested, give them some resources to help them out. I feel like athletes and bodybuilders like myself are such a good example of the diet because you can visually see how well it's working for us. So that could be your best suggestion, or maybe show them studies that link eating animals to an increased risk of stroke or having cancer. Now, why does this work so well? Because most people are extremely afraid of dying. No one wants to die early. I'm not counting out factory farming as like an effective and viable option, but maybe if you relate it more to them, I think that could be more effective for the average human, because pretty much everyone on this planet has an inherent fear of death. If you show them that death will come earlier and they'll feel like shit more, you are once again sympathizing with them and putting the focus on them, which is what people want. Tell them to do it for themselves at the start, and naturally as a consequence, they will do it more for the environment and the ethics as a result. I know this was the case for me. By arguing with someone about why they're wrong for eating animals, you are getting almost nowhere. Arguments almost never work. Anecdotes and documentaries and stuff like that do. And please explain to them why being vegan feels like the right thing to do for you. I had a guy who DM'd me on Instagram the other day, which is kind of why I made this video. It inspired me to make this video. And what he said to me was, he asked why stop eating animals. And here was my response. I said, it has made me feel physically and mentally the best I ever have. What it's doing for saving the environment and knowing I'm not contributing to factory farming are huge benefits in my mind too. I don't hate you or have anything against you if you eat animals. Veganism just feels what is right to do for me. Give it a shot and you might be happy as hell that you did. And look at that response. No hatred at all, and he was actually happy with me. Like, he told me, you are the only vegan that is smart, which obviously isn't actually true, but you get the point. If I would have made him angry or forced something on him, his response would have been totally different, and the chances of him transitioning would have been zero. But now, because of this, there is a slight chance that he might actually give it a shot. And this is why I don't blame people for eating animals. And what I was really trying to say in that rap, stop eating animals, I was trying to say stop eating animals, but if you don't, it's all right. But just know all the great things that happen to you and the world around you if you do stop eating animals. That is what I was trying to say. Now, feel free to leave a comment on your thoughts on this situation. I'd love to hear your opinion, and I'm open to, if you guys don't agree with me, please tell me. If you do agree with me, tell me why. Leave a comment. Let's get some discussions going in the comments about this and how you feel. If you enjoyed the video and you do agree with me and you think that that's the right way to go, leave a like on the video. It helps out my channel and it lets me know that you guys really resonated with this. Thank you for watching till the end and just hearing me out the whole time. Thank you again. Have a good rest of your day and go vegan.
Ha ha ha.